Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nafisa from Oxfam in Bangladesh, and I'm joined by my colleagues Tausif Ahmed and Humayra. Under this showcase, we are presenting our joint research initiative with Monash University titled Participatory Research and Ownership with Technology, Information and Change, or simply Pratik. In Bengali, Pratik means a symbol, and for us, it represents a sign of digitization, a token of community recognition, and an embodiment of action research. Uh, the first phase of Pratik ran from 2015 to 2019, and the second phase is still continuing, starting from 2020, expanding its focus on digital inclusion justice for marginalized communities. Pratik 2 was developed as a research-based project to explore how communities understand digital rights, literacy, and how access to technology can transform inclusion and justice for disengaged groups. This journey was designed to support Oxfam's other initiatives like TROSA and Securing Rights, who work with Fisher folk and domestic workers, tea garden communities. Uh, Across all these groups, we have observed something strikingly similar. Very low literacy rate, restricted access to smartphones and safe online spaces, language and literacy barriers, social stigma and harassment, especially for women online, and mostly no institutional or policy support to sustain their digital participation. Some community members were slowly adapting to smarter devices, but lack of digital literacy kept them behind. Women in particular faced risks like online bullying, stolen identities, and social restrictions that limited their freedom to join digital spaces under their real names. Through Potik2, we wanted to understand how to bridge this gap and how to capacitate communities to learn, share, and advocate within their networks or across their networks. So we started to co-design research um, working directly with the communities to develop inclusive, low-tech digital tools. The idea was to make them not just users, but the owners of their digital journey. The research led us to several innovations that you can see here. Nodi Social, which is a community app for fisher folk to share ecological knowledge, weather alerts, and experiences. Nodi Social, a community app for fisher folk to share. Jol Shikha is a mobile app and web platform for practical digital literacy. Pragati is a gamified training tool, and Paroli is a toll-free audio call conferencing system that connects people without internet. What's most inspiring is that each tool was built through community-led design workshops and where community participants shaped the contents, language, and format themselves. As people began sharing learning digitally, we saw their confidence to grow. Fisher folk started running their own social media pages to highlight community issues safely. Domestic workers used gamified tools to learn new skills or evaluate them. Women entrepreneurs began engaging cyber safety discussions, helping to build a safer digital ecosystem for themselves and others. These interventions are not just digital innovations, they're social transformation. And uh, from here, we can see that they enable better group connectivity, stronger knowledge exchange, and sense of agency among people who were once disconnected. With that background, I'll now hand it over to Tausif Ahmed and Humayra, who will walk you through these digital platforms how they were technically developed and co-designed with communities. Over to you, Tausif.
Thank you, Nafisa. As a continuation of our project 2 overview, I will quickly introduce Nodi Kaushal, our community mobile app. We co-designed this tool with fisher folk in Bangladesh. Participants were young and adult, and both men and women. The communities told us that they needed simple, trusted space to share local fishing practice and ecological knowledge. not just to document information, but to improve livelihood, raise collective issues, and communicate quickly. Next slide, please. Nafisa, can you hear me? Yes, thank you. So Notification app lets user post text, audio, and video in organized categories with option to share publicly and privately. We built it through repeated feedback loops, so the features reflect what features actually use. Later, it is supported by digital literacy website and app for internet basics and Facebook page and groups for community advocacy. So let's talk about the learning about the app. What we found is that youth engagement is high and older boat captains engage less because of low literacy and reliance of barter phone. However, women are keen to participate but face limited phone access and cyber safety concern. So also we got some feedback. Communities asked to us to add real-time weather, fish ban alert, and fishing availability related information in the app. They also requested hand-on training and train the trainer model so local champions can support others. In short, you can back to the previous slide. Okay, Nodikosal is more than an app. So it is a community knowledge and communication platform that amplifies the fisherfolk voice while meeting their day-to-day information needs. So our next step focuses on the requested real-time features and structured training to deepen safe and inclusive use. Yes, thank you. So building on our lesson from Nodir Social app, we need notice a core challenge, uneven digital literacy across the fisherfolk community. People ask very practical questions. How do I search the internet? How do I use Google Maps for better navigation? How do I open an online account and keep it secure? Next slide, please. To respond, we build Jal Shikha, a website and mobile app focused on simple, safe, and efficient way to learn how to use the internet. Content covers searching, basic app use, password hygiene, two-factor authentication, and privacy settings. The mobile app includes short quizzes so learner and trainer can immediately check their understanding. Next slide, please. So I'm going to discuss about the learning and impact of this Jal Shikha website app. So we got some feedback. They preferred audio-visual and step-by-step lesson than next. It is observed that your champion emerges as a natural trainer, helping elders and peers. So when we use local language, plain word, clear icons, and short module, especially with offline access, the engagement is improved. So what is our next plan? Adding voice narration to every lesson. Please back to the previous. Expanding visual tutorials and simplifying user flows. Also rolling out a training model so local champion can teach other with our guidance. Also continuing feedback loops with the community to refine content. So in short, Jal Shikha turns digital literacy into practical and everyday skills. So fisher folk can navigate, communicate, and protect their online lives with confidence. Next slide, please. So domestic workers are one of our project's key impact group. So we want to build something that helps them work more efficiently and also provides entertainment in their free time. It bridges gap in literacy, digital access, and formal training opportunity. It supplements classroom-based skill training with an engaging self-paced experiment, and it's culturally sensitive and designed for free time learning. So next slide, please. So how we did it? We are gamifying domestic worker skill training module, which is running another project named Suniti under Oxfam. So it is a Unity-based 2D mobile game with three levels: dishwashing, cooking, and room cleaning, delivered as a step-by-step task. So domestic workers participate in an interactive session with support from social mobilizer and facilitator. So the Practice aligns with manual training. Facilitators introduce and guided play. So co-design iteration included multiple feedback cycle with Oxfam and a field test that gathered concrete solutions. So next slide, please. So what we'll learn from this co-design and training workshop. So what we found, we got a lot of engagement in this game. The tasks in the game mirror real life, so user enjoy it and see so immediate value. Also, visual cues and facilitated onboarding help low literacy users. However, no smartphone mean no access. So we need to share device and group play session. We got some user-driven improvement. Participants asked for appliance tutorial like how to use mixer, rice cooker, washing machine. Also, they preferred voice guidance and ambient audio. So what is our next plan? We are integrating appliance training modules, adding Bangla voice narration throughout, and enhancing sound steps. We are also creating a short facilitator toolkit with onboarding script, troubleshooting tips, and reflection questions. So in short, this game doesn't replace training, it amplifies it. It fits the real schedules, respect and real context and turns everyday skill into confidence and recognize competence. So thank you for your attention. I would like to invite Humayra to take us through the next part of the presentation.
Thank you, Tausif, Uddin, Ahmed. I'm directly moving to my slides, which is a slide, Bangladesh. Yes, thank you so much. So our work in Bangladesh addresses a critical gap, like giving a digital voice to some of the most marginalized communities. That is our inland fisher folk. And here the problem we needed to surface in the systematic exploitation of these communities. Their stories simply never reach a wider audience. So in our co-design workshop, we asked them what is the easiest platform for you to raise your voice, and their answer was simply Facebook, because it's the most accessible and widely used. And this direct communication input led to the co-creation of Bangladesher Jeleder Kotha, means the voice of Bangladesh fishers, which is a platform designed by and for the community. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
I already changed the slide.
Thank you so much. So we built a two-tiered system, a public page for amplification, backed by a private group for the safe discussion. And through the workshop, we trained them on a private to public workflow. And issues are debated safely in the group first, and then posted publicly once verified in the group. And this builds a unified front and manages the risks. So this means the sensitive issues are debated privately first. Once the community agrees on a message and verifies the facts, and admins post it publicly. And this is safer and builds a unified front. So we also trained them to document injustice with phones they already have. Next, please. So once the platform was live, our co-design process shifted to evaluation. Evaluation showed a gap between the theory and practice. First, we saw general chats were active, but posts about exploitation were very rare, which reflects the very real fear of retaliation we heard about earlier. The community preferred safe content like the fish photos, daily catch fish, river, etc. So we adopted strengthening anonymity, creating story templates, and blending advocacy with their daily posts, like using a fish photo to explain unfair pricing. And it also highlighted the need for ongoing mentorship to help this young admins, fisherfolk moderate, verify, and escalate the issues safely in this risk context. Okay, so next we are moving to the toll-free audio conferencing system, which is Paroli. Parallel is our another initiative, and it is a toll-free audio conferencing system. So many of the marginal communities have basic phones, but not reliable or affordable internet. So during the COVID-19, our shift to online meetings failed because the pupils simply couldn't join. So Parallel uses the ordinary phone calls, and invited participant just answers their phone to join a meeting. So no data, no app, no cost. And only the host needs an internet connection to manage and run the call. And everyone with any kinds of phone, like basic feature phone or a smartphone, can participate fully in discussion. So next slide. Yes. It's a web dashboard. Parallel is a web dashboard, and that manages a simple phone calls. For the host, they request access, prepare an agenda, and schedule the call. And the system then auto dials every participant. And during the call, the host can manage it like any digital meetings. They can mute, they can unmute, or see raised hands, and even run keypad polls for instant feedback. But for the participants, it's very simple. They just answer the phone to speak, they press a key to unmute, and to vote, they press a number. And also the Parallel creates a rich data set for us with recordings and analytics. Next slide, please. So Parallel is not just for meetings. We have already used it for a crop doctor session, which delivering agree advisories advisories calls under a project named Climate Risk Insurance, where the agree advisory calls to 175 farmers, helping farmers get climate advices and pest control tips without any internet cost. And also Parallel has huge potential for emergency response. But to truly scale this for emergency response, like warning 500 features of a cyclone without making 10 separate calls. So we must upgrade the platform capacity and launch dedicated training. So this is, and this will ensure Parallel becomes a reliable community-owned lifeline. Okay, next slide. Okay, so next, let's shift to a different set of digital challenges, which is cyber safety for women entrepreneurs. We see that women entrepreneurs in Bangladesh face significant barriers to starting online business. And this is not just limited to access to devices or skills. A major issue undermining their confidence is online harassment and fraud. So in our pilot, we tested an integrated human-centered approach to build digital business ecosystem that are genuinely safe and designed for women. Next slide, please. And our approach was built on listening and collaboration. First, we started by listening. We conducted interviews with the women entrepreneurs across Bangladesh to truly understand their lived experience with online risks. Then we moved to co-design, and we held workshops with these women to collaboratively brainstorm the solutions and design ideas for women-friendly digital platforms. And finally, we engaged key stakeholders like policymakers, NGOs, and technology experts to bridge the gap between community needs and institutional actions. Next slide. Okay, so a woman isn't just dealing with online harassment. She is also managing the household duties, has limited mobility, and often lacks the capital and confidence to even start online. So we found that current training and policies often miss this reality because those are not in local languages, don't use the existing trust networks, and ignore the cyber safety, which drastically reduces their impact. So the women told us clearly, They don't want just another app or a one-time training. They want a safe, supportive space in both online and offline, and which blend the skills of learning, selling the peer support, and protecting from online harms all in one. Okay, so that's all from my part. I would now like to hand over to my colleague Nafisa Tasnim Khan, who will walk you through clear learnings and way forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Humayra. Now we have do not have much time to extend. I mean, I wanted to change the slide. Okay, so in conclusion, we can see that everything, since we would like to briefly share our real life scenario. It was not very easy to bundle it with the other projects which had different timelines and goals, and there was an integration gap between the partners and deliverables. There were limited community incentive because this was a research project. They couldn't see the benefits right away out of it. So incentivizing the participants were hard sometimes, and despite these challenges but the outcomes we had has been inspiring. Communities who once hesitated to use the digital tools are now using them to share knowledge, express their concerns, and advocate for their rights. Moving forward, our goal is to design more dedicated projects around these impact groups or to foster solutions and foster literacy, inclusion, and confidence to engage digitally. Oxfam can also play a role to act as a connector between the communities and the policymakers, helping them to protect their rights, promote safety, and make digital ecosystem more inclusive. Our vision is not just to teach technology, but to nurture them in a way so that they can come into digital space with more dignity and collective change. With that, I'd like to thank you all for your time and patience hearing. Now we will welcome questions and reflections and comments. Thank you. Thank you for your comment, Shamima Appa. Glad to have you with us in our journey to speak for women's rights and create digital space, safe digital space for them. We really look forward to have more discussion and a connection with you on this. And we have another question as the chairperson from BWIGF. I often ask, how can we ensure that women, youth, and marginalized communities in Bangladesh are not just beneficiaries, but co-creators in digital justice and inclusion initiatives? How can our national efforts in digital policy design truly reflect the lived experience and aspirations of our diverse communities? Yes, we reciprocate and we understand that where this question is coming from, and we also are trying to see how the voices of the marginalized community or the affected ones actually are, being reflected in the policies that we want to see, which will eventually create a safer space and a more engaging digital space in future. Hence, we started off designing our solutions with the communities. We heard them first. We did ice-breaking sessions, FGDs, and over interviews with them. And then we started to take their voices. We thought of our research part in a different way, but when we looked at the community and their needs, then we started to shift and understand their needs first and create our research path following their needs and demands. So I think for designing the bottom-up approach is the way how we can connect the voices in policy making. So another question I got from Mohammed Uddin that the areas we have ran our pilots in Kurigram and Chatpur with Fisher folk, and for domestic workers the pilots were ran in Dhaka, and for tea garden workers we worked in Sri Mangal. Um, these were the areas we worked in. And the second question was, your product relies on an app, website, and social media. Isn't that quite ambitious for the community you were targeting, especially given their limited digital literacy? And how do you plan to bridge this significant digital gap? Yes, one of the solutions we discussed was about how to literate them first about their digital orientation. We started off with a very basic digital literacy training module where we capacitate the community volunteers or someone representing the most of the digitally advanced community. So we trained them first, and we were training them to share that knowledge with the other community members. So we train one, and they train 10 more. That's how we were trying. This small initiative was trying to get to maximum out of the community in terms of literacy and engagement. And so I think without going to bigger scale training, very formal training setup, it's a very effective for the community when they hear from one of their own, and they can they know what they need to hear or where their understanding gaps are, so they can share their knowledge in their own understanding, and can really translate it well when it's going to the wider community whose literacy is very limited. And what is the sustainable model of your program? I think that's where we are trying to get to in terms of creating a partnership with the government, the policymakers. This is how we can probably sustain our initiatives. Also, as we have mentioned at the end of our presentation, that we're trying to design more focused projects which will connect the government and also the community in designing such kind of solutions, and also will help them with the digital literacy as well.
Okay, so also building the community ownership. The Facebook pages and the groups are owned and managed already by the community admins, and the digital literacy is pure lead. So there are also community volunteers who are there for any kinds of support, and there are a kind of a training program arranged by the community volunteers to create the local experts who can sustain and train others without our direct involvement. So any other questions?
So we have another, I think, latest question is about, based on our experience, would we like to endorse this approach to other advocates for digital inclusion in APAC, and any other suggestions for steps to enhance the methodology and its effectiveness? Yes, we think from our experience, even though there were real-time challenges in the field, but we think this approach was very effective for us in terms of connecting with the community, listen to the community first, and then going to the policymakers to design a policy that would help them to engage in the digital space. And for enhancing this modality, I would say yes, there should be a project. Maybe it can be started off with a project, but eventually getting into government policymakers into the in a room will help to enhance the effectiveness of this modality. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, we see our time is up, and I think we are done with the question answers as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation and appreciations. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Nafisa.
Oxfam team.
Thank you, Mishita and Khalid bhai, for joining.
Thank
It was
you.
very
Thank you.
nice to see you
Great
here.
presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for Bangladesh.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Thank
dear
you,
Nafisa
everyone.
Shamima.
and your team.